So in the last session, we started learning about the electoral process in India of our country. Today, we will continue with that, which is chapter number 2 of your political science course. And we will understand how elections are conducted. So today's objective will be to understand what exactly the Election Commission does. We have already understood that Election Commission is a constitutional body, it's an independent body, it's an autonomous body, and we have already understood that it conducts elections. So we will study in detail how that is done. That is, we will understand how elections are conducted. I will keep reminding you that election is a much longer process. And one of the steps in the process is the step of voting. So do not confuse voting with elections. It is very common to confuse elections and voting because the common people, when they see elections, they see voting, they experience voting. That is the major experience that common people have. But elections are a much longer and much bigger process. Quick revision. We remembered that India is a democracy. It is written in the constitution. It is written very clearly that we, the people of India, we will make India a democratic country. We understood that democracy means government of the people, for the people, and by the people. Because of that, we realized that two key things, essential processes that are required for democracy are representation and elections. Representation, because our population is very, very big, it will be impossible if every single person participates in the decision making, in the rule making process. Too many cooks spoil the broth. बहुत टाइम लग जाएगा, बहुत बहस होगी, काम कम होगा. So what we do is a lot of people elect some of the people to represent them, to work on their behalf. This is the concept of representation. You see that in the picture that is on the right hand side, middle. And to decide who our representatives will be, we have another process which is called elections. Not selection, but elections, where the common people can express their own choice. We also saw briefly what kind of representatives we would like, what qualities we would like in our representatives. We also saw what qualities we would like in our election process. Very simple, dependable, helping, trustworthy, honest, right? These things. And we ended the last session, by understanding that all this, representation, elections, all this is the responsibility of a group of people, which is called the Election Commission, a group of people or an organization, which has been formed from the power of Constitution. It is very clearly mentioned in the Article 234 of the Constitution that there should be a body called Election Commission. Article 324, not 234, Article 324. And the Constitution also says that this Election Commission should be independent, वो अपना काम खुद से कर पाए, and autonomous, वो अपने rules खुद बनाए, क्या करना है, नहीं करना है, कैसे करना है, वो खुद decide करे, so that our elections are free, fair, and dependable. And the main function is to conduct elections. So today in this session, we will briefly see how elections are conducted. And please pay attention, because I'm changing the flow. I'm changing the flow of content. I'm not going to follow the flow that is there in the textbook, because in the textbook, first the functions of election commission are given, and then the election process is explained. That will not be easy to understand. It will be easy if we first understand what the process is, and based on that, we understand what election commission needs to do. Please pay attention. The process of elections, especially India. It is this process that we are going to study is a very, very general process. This is what happens in most of the elections, and definitely it happens in our country. This is a flow chart. Flow chart. It is a chart, and if you see, there are arrows from one box to another box. Each box gives us a step, one activity, one action. And the next action follows the previous action. That means it tells us what is the sequence of actions, what is the flow of actions, and that is why this kind of diagram, this kind of chart is called a flow chart. And this is how elections are conducted. These are the steps. Quickly count and tell me in the chat how many steps are there. When we say that we need to conduct elections, or we are conducting elections, these are the 8 steps that happen. Right? And if you see, voting, the actual voting is just one of the 8 steps of the entire election process. Now, if we understand what each of these steps mean, then we can easily understand what Election Commission does. Right? So what we are going to do today in this session is quickly look at what these 8 steps are, starting from the first one, which is establishment of constituencies. Constituencies looks just like the word constitution. And I had explained to you the meaning of constitution also. The literal meaning of the constitution means the makeup of something, how it is formed. Constituencies means the parts that make up the whole. The parts that make up the whole. Establishment should not be establishments, it should be establishment. Very sorry. Establishment means to form, to set up, to finalize. Establishment of constituencies. Now, if you look at the map on the screen, maybe you can guess. What we are doing in this is we are dividing the entire country into different parts. And these parts are called one constituency each. And all these constituencies make one country. Why are we doing this? Because we have a democracy. We have a representative democracy. So all the people will select their representatives. Not their representatives will be different. People living in different parts of the country will choose their own representatives. So what are those parts of the countries? That is determined by constituency. Also, ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि कहीं पे 100 लोगों को रिप्रेजेंट करने के लिए एक रिप्रेजेंटेटिव है और कहीं पे 10 लोगों को रिप्रेजेंट करने के लिए एक रिप्रेजेंटेटिव है. It should be fair. It should be a constant ratio, constant proportion. And that is why the constituencies are not based on the population. They are not mainly based on the district borders or city borders. They are mainly based on population. So the constituencies that you see drawn for the country India, all of these constituencies, roughly, they represent same amount of population. If you see the map carefully, you will see that there are more constituencies in this region. Can you see my pointer on the screen? Right? Do you know which state is here? The state of UP. UP is not a big state by area. UP is a big state by population. And that is why there are more constituencies in this part of the country. But if you see this part on the west, this is Rajasthan. We have desert there. The population is low. That is why there are fewer constituencies. So constituencies are based on number of people who live there. And the people who live in the constituencies, they are called constituents. Constituents of a constituency elect their representative, new words. And the process of deciding the constituencies is called delimitation. Delimitation means to find the boundary, to limit. I showed you the news item earlier that State Election Commission, Maharashtra, is going to delimit the wards for BMC elections. So they are going to decide the new boundaries of the constituency. Why new boundaries? Because population does not remain same. Population keeps on increasing and decreasing. That is why the constituencies also keep changing. Give me. Now comes an interesting word. It's called gerrymandering. Gerrymandering comes from the name of a person. Gerrymandering is when we redraw the constituencies in a bad way. We redraw the constituency to favor someone. अगर हम मान लो ऐसा करेंगे कि अरे इस इलाके के लोग मुझे ज्यादा जानते हैं तो मैं इसको एक कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंसी बना देता हूं, मैं जीत जाऊंगा. That kind of thing is called gerrymandering. It's the bad way, it's the wrong way of making constituencies. Another thing I want you to focus on in the picture is here. There is something saying total seats 543, general 423, SC 79, ST 41. So what it tells is, there are 543 constituencies, and so there will be 543 representatives who will make the Lok Sabha. If we look at the similar map for Maharashtra, it will be a different number. Then it says general, SC and ST. Now you will have to link it to the social justice thing that we studied in the previous chapter, reservations. So some constituencies, some seats are reserved for SC and ST, so that they also get fair representation in the Lok Sabha. The second step is finalizing voters list. We know who the voters are. In India, everyone who is a citizen, and has completed 18 years is allowed to vote, is a voter. But now if we connect it to the concept of constituency, you will realize that it is not enough just to be 18 years of age and to be an Indian citizen. It is also necessary to know where you live. If I live in Mumbai, I cannot go and vote in Bhubaneswar because I am a constituent of Mumbai. So there is a list. The list is of all the voters, and it is divided by constituency. Not just constituency. In each of the constituencies, there are a number of polling booths. Polling booths are places where people go and vote. And in many places, schools also act as polling booths. So if I live in Goregaon West, maybe my polling booth will be in Siddharth Nagar School, or my polling booth will be in Meetha Nagar School. I need to know that. I need to go to that polling booth and vote there. I cannot vote anywhere else. And when I go to vote there, I should carry my voter ID card, very clearly shown in the picture, and I'm sure your parents also have it. So when I go there, when you will go there soon in 2-3 years, they will check if you are the person who you are claiming to be using your voter ID card, your name will be matched with the voter list there, and then you will be allowed to vote. Now, because people keep moving from one place to another, more people keep getting older and older and they become eligible to vote. Voters list is not final. It keeps changing. And we have to have a list ready for a particular election so that all who are eligible can vote. तो जो लोग नए हैं उनका नाम ऐड करना पड़ेगा, जो लोग चले गए हैं उनका नाम हटाना पड़ेगा. All this thing is done by the election commission. Third step, nomination of candidates and scrutiny. In the last class, I told you that we have elections. We don't have selection or nomination. Then why are we talking about nomination? What is this scrutiny? Who is a candidate? All the people who want to become our representatives, they are called candidates. These are the people who contest the elections. Don't say they fight the elections. It's a very violent word. Say contest the elections. Some candidates will be part of a party, political party, and some will be independent. They will not be aligned to, they will not be member of any party. And the candidate cannot go and say, I will be the candidate. It is not allowed. Some people have to nominate that person to be the candidate. That is called the nomination process. And in that process, a form has to be filled, which is called a nomination form. It contains some basic information. Name of the person who wants to become the candidate, of which constituency, who is proposing the name, right? All very simple things are mentioned. And in our country, because we are a democracy, almost everyone can contest an election. There is only one criteria. And that criteria is based on the age. How you look, what you wear, what language you speak, how much you are educated, how much money you have. Nothing matters. The only criteria is age. For the lower houses, that is Lok Sabha in the national parliament and legislative assemblies in the state, that age limit is 25. If you are 25 years old, you are eligible to contest an election to become an MP or to become a MLA. For the upper houses, that is Rajya Sabha in the national parliament and the legislative council in the state, that age limit is 30. If you follow the link that I have included in the presentation here, you will see the age limit for all kinds of elections. Panchayat, municipal, everything. If you want, you can see that. So the election commission, along with the nomination form, also asks more details from the candidates, mainly about the property that they own, their income. They check if there are any legal cases pending against them. That is not a criteria. Anyone can, even a person who is in jail, yes, can contest the election. then we have to think, why, if only age is the criteria, why is the Election Commission asking for income, property details, and criminal records of the candidates? Think. We will focus on that in the later part of the discussion. The next step is when people campaign for elections. Campaigning means trying to gather support. मेरा ये पॉलिसीज होंगे, मैं ये करूंगा, मैं ऐसे गवर्नमेंट चलाऊंगा, मैं ये नए स्कीम लाऊंगा, आप मुझे वोट दो. People go from door to door, people conduct rallies, there are advertisements, there are interviews, debates. All that is part of election campaign. How that election campaign happens, what is allowed, what is not allowed, that is also controlled, monitored by the Election Commission. They have a rule book which is called the Code of Conduct. And this code of conduct is applicable just before the elections and during the elections, ताकि गलत काम ना हो. And this code of conduct, you can say rules for the behavior, is applicable for the government, for the political parties, and also for the voters. क्या कर सकते हैं, क्या नहीं कर सकते हैं, क्या करना चाहिए, क्या नहीं करना चाहिए, all that is written in the code of conduct. You can guess ना, code of conduct में लिखा होगा कि तुम लोगों को लालच नहीं दे सकते, तुम लोगों को डरा नहीं सकते, धमका नहीं सकते. Remember, you said election should be free, we should not be pressured, we should not be afraid. These are the things you said last time. So code of conduct says that, and Election Commission ensures that everyone follows the code of conduct. We still haven't reached the voting stage. Yeah? Next comes the actual voting. When that voting will happen, how many days the voting will continue. But because India is a huge country, our state is also not very small. It's a big state. There are so many people, there are so many places. So many people have to come and vote. So the voting has to be conducted in so many constituencies. So there needs to be a timetable. So that timetable is also formed by, decided by the Election Commission. Voting in India, as far as I know, it can happen in two different ways. One, you definitely know. You go to the polling booth and you press the button. That is called in-person voting. हम खुद जाते हैं और वहां पे वोट डालते हैं. There is another process also, which is called postal voting or postal ballot. Ballot means voting or vote. Because you see, there are some people who cannot go and vote, especially people like our soldiers, someone who is at the border with Pakistan, at the border with China, who is in the Siachen. They cannot come and they cannot leave their posts and come to vote. Similarly, people who are very old, sick, they will not be able to vote. People who are in the jail. So what the government, what the constitution allows is, if you are not able to, there are specific reasons, conditions when a person, if the person is not able to go to the polling booth and vote, the person can send his or her vote using post, India Post, letter. And all these posts are counted equally, one person, one vote. ऐसा नहीं हो सकता कि सिद्धार्थ पहले मुंबई में वोट कर देगा, फिर जाकर भुवनेश्वर में वोट करेगा. हो ही नहीं सकता. My name will be there, should be there in only one voters list. ऑल्सो इट इज नॉट पॉसिबल कि मैं सुबह 9 बजे जाकर वोट करूं और उसके बाद फिर 2 बजे जाकर वोट करूं, नहीं होगा, अलाउड नहीं। एंड टू एंश्योर दैट वी हैव समथिंग कॉल्ड एज इंडेलिबल इंक। देखो पिक्चर में वो उंगली पे निशान लगा हुआ है, इंडेलिबल मींस जिसको हम मिटा नहीं सकते। इट स्टेज देयर ऑन द स्किन फॉर फ्यू डेज। So when we go for voting, our fingers are checked कि हमने पहले वोट दिया तो नहीं, and only then we are allowed to vote. Another very interesting and important concept for free and fair elections is secret ballot. मैं किसको वोट दे रहा हूं सिर्फ मुझे पता है और किसी को नहीं पता, कोई नहीं देख सकता, अलाउड नहीं है। मेरे वोट पे मैं नाम नहीं लिखता कि मैंने वोट दिया है, मैं सिर्फ जाता हूं बटन दबाकर आता हूं। रिमेंबर जब मैंने आपको फीडबैक मांगा था, मैंने बोला था कि आप चाहें तो आप अपना नाम के साथ फीडबैक दे सकते हैं, अगर आप नहीं चाहते अपना नाम लिखना तो बिना नाम के भी फीडबैक दे सकते हैं, दैट इज सीक्रेट। सीक्रेट बैलेट, ताकि कोई बाद में ये ना बोले अरे तुमने तो बोला था तो मुझे वोट दोगे लेकिन तुमने मुझे वोट नहीं दिया, मैं तुमको मारूंगा, वो नहीं होना चाहिए। दैट इज वाई सीक्रेट बैलेट। एंड फाइनली in India, unlike many other developed countries, unlike, we have adopted technology. हमने टेक्नोलॉजी को बहुत यूज करना शुरू कर दिया है सालों से अपने इलेक्शन प्रोसेस में। और अब हम पहले स्टील के बक्से यूज होते थे, बॉक्स, और उसमें पेपर वोट डाले जाते थे, अब नहीं यूज होता, अब इलेक्ट्रॉनिक वोटिंग मशीन यूज होता है। इसीलिए मैं कह रहा हूं बार बार, वी गो एंड प्रेस द बटन। और हम कौन सा बटन प्रेस कर रहे हैं वो तो वहां पर उसके मेमोरी में रहता है, और उसका एक पेपर भी प्रिंट होकर अपने आप रह जाता है, उसमें हमारा नाम नहीं लिखा रहता, उसमें बस ये लिखा रहता है कि कितने वोट आए, किसको वोट आए, बस इतना, ताकि चेक कर सकें कि मशीन में जो है और जो पेपर में है वो बराबर है कि नहीं, किसी ने मशीन को गड़बड़ तो नहीं किया। उसके लिए हम यूज करते हैं वीवीपैट। आई विल एक्सप्लेन टू यू द फुल फॉर्म्स लेटर इन द चैप्टर। So now the voting is complete. Our votes are there in the machines. Now we need to count. So what we do, we collect the machines, take them to some place which is called a strong room, जहाँ पर हम उसको safe रखते हैं before the counting. And on the counting day, the machines are connected, checked, and the votes are mixed. They are mixed before counting. मिक्स करना जरूरी है क्योंकि हम नहीं चाहते कि किसी भी कैंडिडेट को पता चले कि कौन से पोलिंग बूथ में उसको ज्यादा वोट मिले और कौन से पोलिंग बूथ में उसको कम वोट मिले। अगर कैंडिडेट को पता चला, then the candidate may become biased. The candidate, even if the candidate wins, वो बोल सकती है कि मुझे पोलिंग बूथ ए वाले लोगों ने ज्यादा वोट दिया, मैं उनके लिए काम करूंगी, बी के लिए काम नहीं करूंगी। So again, to keep your ballot secret, to ensure that the candidate is fair to everyone, we first mix and then we count. Counting has become very easy now. Electronically count हो जाता है because the machines are electronic. पहले पेपर से एक पेपर को निकाल के चेक करते थे, मैन्युअली काउंट होता था, अभी तो इलेक्ट्रॉनिक होता है। इसीलिए आजकल सुबह अगर काउंटिंग शुरू होता है तो शाम तक रिजल्ट पता चल जाता है, पहले कई हफ्ते लग जाते थे। So once the counting is over, election results are declared. Of course, the results will be declared by the election commission. I see the results on TV channels, but where do they get the results from? They get the results from election commission. It is 2021, age of technology. Gone are the days जब इलेक्शन कमीशन पेपर में रिजल्ट छापकर उसको फिर अनाउंस करते थे, अब तो वो रिजल्ट सीधे अपने वेबसाइट पे डाल देते हैं। Look at the picture that I have shown you. This is available on the Election Commission of India's website about the elections in Assam. that were conducted recently. मैंने सिर्फ आपको एक पेज दिखाया है. There are details, there are tables, there are graphs, there are details that are available. And when all this counting and declaration of results is happening, the representatives of the candidates, who are called agents of the parties and the candidates, they are there ताकि गलत counting ना हो, to verify that the counting is happening properly, that the declaration of results is happening properly. I strongly advise you to go through this link, results.eci.gov.in. You will understand how results are declared. Everything is over. We tried our best. The Election Commission tried its best to conduct the elections properly. Even then, there may be disputes. Disputes means झगड़े, disagreements. A candidate may say कि नहीं आपने गलत काउंट किया. The candidate may say अरे जो मेरे अगेंस्ट इलेक्शन लड़ रहा था उसने तो गलत काम किया. It is also possible that someone who was not eligible or someone who gave wrong information in the nomination form, that person is can no longer participate in the elections. So these types of disputes, problems, if they come up, they are also resolved. Resolved means to find solutions of. The candidate or some people will complain to the election commission, and the election commission will decide कि क्या करना है, कैसे करना है. Sometimes counting फिर से की जाती है. Sometimes the candidates are rejected, disqualified. Sometimes election को ही फिर से पूरा किया जाता है, depending on what the problem is, what the dispute is, and what exactly has happened. And this is the last step. So quickly going back, Election Commission first establishes the constituencies. This is called the process of delimitation based on the population. Election Commission finalizes the list of people who are eligible to vote. Election Commission accepts nomination of candidates and checks if the information that they have shared is correct. That is the meaning of scrutiny, check. Next, there is a timetable for election and there is a time for campaign also. And during this time, the model code of conduct is in force. The model code of conduct is in force before the elections and during the elections. Government, political parties, and voters all have to follow this. The voting happens. It can happen in person. It can happen using post. It's a secret ballot. Everyone gets to vote only once. We use technology. Votes are counted, and they are counted after mixing them. The results are declared. And if there are any problems, the problems are resolved. This is the very brief overview of how elections are conducted. What is meant by conducting an election? Let us quickly look at one or two questions that we should now be able to answer from the exercise. Tell me, constituencies are created by dash committee of the election commission. ये तो मैंने बताया ही नहीं. Guess करके बताओ. Even within the election commission, one part of the election commission would be called as delimitation committee or delimitation commission. So that group of people will be involved in establishing the constituencies. We studied that establishment of constituencies, the process is called delimitation. So you can answer, it cannot be selection, it cannot be voting, it cannot be timetable. So this is the true test whether you have understood or not. The answer here is delimitation committee of the election commission. This will be your homework, very simple. Just make the notes about the 8 steps of the process of elections. use the presentation that I have used here. I will send you a little bit more detail later in the day, not immediately. Also, answer this question that we discussed just now, which is from the textbook. Read the chapter again and again and again. You will understand more and more and more. We will finish political science here for today.